day, students. Mr. Sargent here with your day 117 recap video for ELA and for science. In ELA today, we focused on the word culture. Since this week is Read Across America Week, today was Culture Day, and we talked about so many different cultures today that I can't wait to share with you. In science today, we continued with our scientific method by coming up with a conclusion and talking about observation. So ladies and gentlemen, sit back and let's begin learning. Now, as you can see by my shirt and my background, ladies and gentlemen, today we started off by talking about Ireland and the culture that exists at Ireland. Now, when we're talking about culture, we're talking about everything from the food to the language to the dancing to the holidays. When we're talking about culture, it's all of those things. Now, we read a story, well, this story right here, today in class, and I highly suggest you go on Epic and take a look at it. Now, there is a challenge activity because we talked about so many other cultures today. Aman did such a great job talking about Sudan and the culture that exists there, and Morocco. And we talked about Colombia. We talked about Australia. We talked about so many different cultures. But I want to hear from you. In the description below, and I sent this challenge work to you via Class Dojo, you will find an activity. And on this activity, it's going to ask you to pick a country. Now, all you have to do is pick a country and then go on Epic and find a book to read about that country. And then find a few questions. There's just a few questions here that tell us where we can find the country, what language is spoken there, and 3 cool facts that you learned about their culture. I cannot wait to learn more about the culture that you chose to read about. So get on Epic tonight and check out a book. In science today, we continued the scientific method. Now, as you can see here, this has been our focus of the week. We have questions, we have hypotheses, we have experiments. We did all that yesterday and the day before and the day before that. Today, we're getting towards the end where we observe, where we report, and we come up with a conclusion. Now, if you remember what we did yesterday in class, and if you don't, it's okay. We inflated a balloon with vinegar and baking soda. Okay, we had come up with our question first. Can I fill up a balloon? The hypothesis was, yes, we can. See, so the first part's pretty easy, isn't it? Then we did the experiment step by step, by step, by step. And it's really important that you get the steps correct in order. And then after that, we observed. Now, when you observe something, ladies and gentlemen, you watch it. You keep an eye on it. You make notes about what is happening. Because sometimes experiments work, but sometimes they don't. And when they don't work, you want to figure out why it didn't work. And we do this by observing or watching our experiment. All right? So whenever you do an experiment, you need to make sure that you are observing and watching it. Now, after that, we have to come up with our conclusion. Think about a conclusion of a book. It's at the end, isn't it? It tells us how the book ends. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when we're dealing with a science fair project or an experiment, the conclusion for that is the same thing. You let the person know that seeing your project, if your project worked or it didn't work. You let them know what you figured out, what you learned, so you can share that knowledge with them. And most of all, ladies and gentlemen, the best part about the conclusion is this. You get to tell the reader or who's ever viewing your project whether or not your hypothesis was correct. So if we take a look at the scientific method, we have all of these steps covered, don't we? And if you have all of these steps covered, you get the start of a good project. Now, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing a project together. Now, we're going to go through it step by step. And then, ladies and gentlemen, at the very end, we're going to come up with a conclusion. Now, I'm also going to be sharing with you some links. I'm going to be sharing with you some links for science experiments that you can do for your science fair project. I cannot wait to see what you all pick. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for day 117. I know this is 16, 17. I know it's a short video. We just had so much fun discussing different cultural activities and cultures. We got caught up today. Now, I will let you know, do not forget that your spelling packet is due tomorrow. You're gonna have a spelling test tomorrow, and all the prefix packets that I sent to you this week are also going to be checked tomorrow. So do not forget to go back into Google Classroom and past Class Dojo assignments or messages and click on those assignments to get them done. Ladies and gentlemen, I am super proud of each and every one of you, and I cannot wait to see all of you tomorrow.